Welcome to the 5 Flavors of Happiness, hosted by Susan Pieper.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my top 10 moments of 2024. Yes, there is a tie. It was so hard to pick. I had the most amazing guests, and I cannot wait to 2025 when I'm going to have even more guests. So please don't forget to like and subscribe below. Okay, enjoy the show.
When somebody says, "Wow, you really brought up a good point in that meeting," or "I like that idea about this new project." Those kinds of compliments roll off of us like Teflon. So it's the Velcro Teflon syndrome, where the negative sticks and the positive rolls off of us. But when you keep a success journal, every day you make an entry of something big, something small. Maybe it's you got home for dinner on time. You were able to make soccer practice. You put in a good full day at work. Whatever it is, you put that down in your success journal. Make at least one entry a day. Doesn't need to be, I just closed $1 million deal. I mean, that's good too. But just put it all down there, and then at the end of the week, review all your entries and say to yourself, what does this all say about me? Right? So now you're beginning to own it.
75% of all people today have no idea what the purpose of their life is.
Oh,
And that is just a really sad statistic.
yeah.
But purpose is really important. So if we look at work as a service to others, whether you're serving through yourself, through a small business, or through a major international corporation, when you are aligned in their vision, in their mission, in their purpose, then you can find happiness, you can find flourishing, you can pursue your purpose within that. Even small jobs that people think are not all that important, they can have significant purpose if we step back and help guide people into their purpose in that. Let's take a young man or woman who's working in a auto repair shop, and they're new in the trade, and all they have to do is put the tire on and attach the lug bolts. It's a meaningless task in their mind until they attach humanity to it. If they attach humanity, then I need to do my job really well, because the car that I'm fixing, someone's daughter, someone's son, a mother with their young children, taking them to school, grocery shopping, they're getting in that. They rely upon me doing my job well, even though it's a relatively small task. So if we start to put purpose to something, then we start to find the ability to find happiness in it.
When we are in the moment and we start to feel the physiological responses to conflict, maybe we feel the anger or fear behind it. But when you notice you're breathing faster, or your voice doesn't quite sound like your own voice, like your voice is a little shaky, and it's like, I don't want my voice to be shaky right now. Take one slow, deliberate breath and consciously think about it. I'm taking a breath. That will disrupt that instinctive response. It actually will, and it only takes a second, so you can do it in the heat of a moment. And what it does is, when you take that just one beat, you reestablish the neural pathways to the part of your brain where you can think. Like the connection kicks back in. And then it's like, okay, I'm here. I still feel anger. I still feel fear, anxiety, judgment. But you can be a bit of an observer of yourself as opposed to just tunnel vision inside it. And look, this takes practice. But most people never, ever even try. And I promise you, the very first time you try it, it's not going to be perfect, but you will feel a noticeable difference. You'll be able to look back a few minutes later and say, wow, that actually changed something.
What I would say, if you're feeling like, okay, I know I meant to do this next thing, then go do it. So because we're such high achievers, both generations can be kind of high achievers. you want to go, okay, then do it. Then make art. Spend 20 minutes a day doing the art. You don't have to make a career out of it tomorrow. You don't have to make a multi-six-figure career out of it by next Tuesday. You need to say yes. And what we do is we don't say yes. We say, give me the success and the answers, and then I'll say yes. Show me that this is going to work out perfectly for me, and then I'll agree to it. Because we want to feel safe. And that's not avoidable, right? Our human mind, our brain is wired to keep us alive. And so whether it's keeping us alive by saying, hey, there's a crocodile over there and you need to run from it, or whatever it is, a tiger, right? Your brain is like, you're running before you even think about it. But also it keeps us safe from making decisions that might make us feel unsafe. So we hesitate when we have this calling come up in us, bubble up, that says, I need to go from corporate to being an artist. And then your mind gets in the way of that beautiful moment, that beautiful realization of your soul saying, let's create some art. And your mind's like, how? Well, but I have bills to pay. Let me create a spreadsheet of all the problems that this is going to create for me. And, your soul is just sitting here like, I don't need any of this. This is just who I am. So you're battling your true self. Your ego is battling your true self. The way out of this, the way through this, is just to keep saying yes. Quit asking for the answers and the blueprint and the receipt and how this is all going to work out. You're not going to get that first. It's going to cause frustration and it's going to stall you out. You just internally, it's an internal whisper to the universe, to God, however you experience the universe. Okay, I'll do it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm freaking out, but a resounding hell yeah, we're doing this.
So we met on Monday morning, and as we were talking, and I explained to her, update my resume, I have to leave. And she said, sure, but first we need to understand your brand. I was in my mid-30s. I had MBA, managing global teams, and I never thought of myself that I have a brand. What does it mean? We need to understand your brand. So she asked me some questions that I believe changed my life. And the questions were things similar to, what is the value you're bringing that nobody else has? How are you different? How are you being perceived by others, and how do they describe you?
No, happy people have projects. Bored people are, do you know many bored people that are happy? They don't correlate. So, and we were created for growth. Like we weren't born to just sit on the couch and watch TV. We were created to grow. We have an inherent desire to. We're at some level, and we have a potential at a higher level. We want to close that gap, and so I use the word projects to mean pick something to go work on. It could be your garden, it could be your health, it could be a new business, it could be actually write that book you've been dreaming of, or that poem. Paint a room in your house, but pick a specific thing or more than one thing, and go do it. And you'll be happier.
My one very good friend said to me one day, she was listening to me like complain on the phone. I'm probably mid-30s, making all these bad choices with dating and work and all this. And it was because I was coming from a place of self-loathing. And my girlfriend, she listened to me for a while, and she goes, Jess, every time I talk to you, you're so negative. And I'm not normally that way. I mean, I'm not this way now, right? But she said, you're so negative. And I was like, what do you mean? It's his fault. He did this happened, blah, blah, blah. Why? I'm the victim. And she was like, you got to stop it. You got to stop it because it's not working for you. Number one, it's not who you are. And if you want to move beyond this point, you're going to have to change this. You're going to have to change your attitude. And having a friend say that to you, and she said it to me lovingly. I'm saying it a little more direct. But she was very clear. She said, you're so negative. It changed everything. It was like popping a bubble. It was like the pin that finally woke me up, right? From kind of this sinking ship, like I deserve to be miserable. And I said, I don't deserve to be miserable. There's a lesson in this.
I am a Meredith angel, and so I feel like I've always had wings, and now I just wear them on the outside, and I wear them, boldly and confidently. If I've just come from an event or a festival, and I want to go get some fresh peaches or blueberries or tomatoes or fresh corn at the Raleigh State Farmers Market, I wear my wings. So courage, I think it's just being so convicted about who you are and being so comfortable in your own skin and being so just so passionate about what you believe in. I have seen, as Sunny the Fun Fairy, just the emotion and the friendship that has been exchanged between women. I have seen just embraces between races. I have seen just the delight in children's eyes. And so, each time I might feel, it doesn't happen really anymore now. I'll go to places in my wings, and I'm like, I've heard the statement before, notice what you notice. And I notice now, I'm very comfortable and courageous, and I'm out there. And I think that takes practice. And I think that, the Taylor Swift expression, haters are going to hate, muggles going to muggle, whatever. And not everyone's going to, really appreciate my light and shine. But those that will, I think, are really going to benefit from Sunny.
And a lot of people have regrets about what they did for a living, for instance, and why they never took the risk of going to Hollywood, for instance, and auditioning for a movie, or going on a talent show and showing the world that they have an amazing gift of singing. A young man once said, I wish I had shown the world my paintings. And he was this beautiful artist, and in spirit, he was showing me all the work that he had done in his short period of time when he was here in the physical world. Unfortunately, he lost his life at an early age and so on. But even with those regrets that spirit will tell me about and confirm about their situations, a lot of them were happy with what they went through as well, because they had a bond with their loved ones and the people around them in their physical world when they were here. And they would never change that love and bond with their loved ones, So it was more on what they did for a living or their art. And those were more of the regrets that they spoke.
And I think for many women, especially, having your tribe that are authentic in those deep connections is really critical. Is a double-edged sword, though, because people at the end of the day are going to people, right? They're human, and they're going to do what they do. And just recently, I have completely had a heartbreaking friendship that ended, right? And so it was someone I was friends with for almost 20 years, and I really thought of her as a sister. And it really completely devastated me. I invested so much time and energy and years into that friendship, but at the same time, it taught me a really valuable lesson about friendship, is that we can't control other people, right? We can't predict what they're going to do. They do things for their own reasons. And it taught me the lesson that we can't be too dependent on our friends or any relationships, whether it's a friend or a spouse or a family member, that people are going to be human and going to hurt us. And so just making sure that we're cognizant of that as we are enjoying those relationships, that, you can't control them. And so it is kind of a double-edged sword sometimes, right? Because you can end up being hurt in the process. But, I really use it as a lesson.
These were just tough old farmers. Great guys. But they like the strongest people you could possibly meet. And it was instilled in them that same kind of thought of, nope, I can do it myself. And if I ask for help, that's not good. That means I'm not, not as good as I think I should be, or I'm weak or that. And it's a mentality that many of us get. Doesn't matter if you're a farmer or not. It doesn't matter, gender wise either and stuff too, because I see it on both sides. A lot of people say, oh, that's a man thing. And it is, but it goes both sides, to where we're kind of conditioned to say it's not okay to fail. And we're conditioned to say it's not okay to show that maybe you aren't the best at something. And so this was one of those lessons that I learned from watching that wasn't necessarily what they were trying to teach because they were struggling through the Alzheimer's and the dementia at the time. But it quickly became something I started to realize with them was I just wish they knew that it was okay to accept that help and that they could accept it and it would help them. And then just like I was saying, more than anything, man, it means a lot to the people that get to help. Because you just said it, like, how good does that feel when we get the opportunity to be able to serve someone else and help someone else? But you can only do it if somebody lets you.
Hey guys, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in 2025. Please don't forget to subscribe. Bye.